I want to talk about something that is pretty important to me.
Well, no offense. If it's you trying to deflect from the situation that you're in, nobody cares.
A long time ago, I used to make gotcha videos or finger pointing videos where I would say, one YouTuber is bad because of this, another YouTuber is bad because of that.
So we already acknowledge about how much of a dishonest individual you are. So I find it absolutely hilarious that you think people are stupid to fall for your bullshit when it comes to the quote-unquote gotcha videos. Yeah, no, those weren't. Those were slander campaigns. You lying fuck.
And I've talked to my Patreon members, OnisionFans.com, essentially. They're not patrons anymore, since Patreon said I allegedly funded something I did not fund at all with it. What a joke. I funded posting texts.
You dox someone's private information. Stop fucking lying.
It's just fake news, It's funny how that works. When, you could say someone posted something nice and they forgot to crop a part out. You could say that. Or you could say, something was malicious and hateful and evil and not even tell the full story.
It's funny that you constantly boast about people not telling the full story, but here's the crux of the issue. People have given their side of the story. You, on the other hand, give bullshit videos like this, be very vague about information, and you kind of go around giving people, bits and pieces to try to get, or at least make them figure out what they're supposed to understand. From you, we don't get a clear message. If anything, you avoid anything involving a situation or a story. Whereas the people who have come forward, I'm kind of talking about, what's going on as a reference when it comes to his victims. They've come forward, gave their story, and their stories are very similar to each other about how you treat people, how you react to certain situations. So don't give us, oh, we don't know the full story. The fact of the matter is, and you know what? I think this would probably be the best clip to describe what this whole situation entails.
In any case, were I to invoke logic, logic clearly dictates that the needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few.
And that's basically what's going on here. It's one person versus many other people with the evidence that has been given to Chris Hansen, to the FBI for their investigation, whether it be happening or not. And I say that because there's some speculation to whether or not the FBI investigation is happening, which to some extent, and I know that there are some dissenters to what Chris Hansen has said. Here's my thing, especially since this one individual, who I will not name, claimed that he contacted the cops and contacted the FBI. I think I'm going to say with confidence that I don't think that they are going to give any information involving an investigation like that when it comes to Greg to a pissant on the internet. Sorry, or better yet, a rando pissant on the internet. Plus, if I remember correctly, I believe he did say that he also has a contact within the FBI, so more than likely, he would have, to some extent, maybe a way to get any information. Let's say, for instance, if they are trying to keep any information closed. At this point, I don't know the inner workings of the FBI. I'm assuming neither does some of the other individuals who have been kind of giving Chris Hansen and others shit. And at this point, when it comes to, and I know it's going to sound hypocritical, especially with this current situation, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, you constantly bringing up the past of an individual isn't going to help this investigation. It's only going to make it worse by you trying to stir up trouble. And you're only putting a target on your back by stirring shit. Right now, their past is irrelevant, okay? Again, I know that sounds very controversial considering that we talk and give shit to Greg about his past. But bottom line, this is the bottom line of this, and I'm going to not bring it up again unless I have to. It seems like with Chris Hansen and some of these other guys, they try to change. Except one. I'm not going to name his name, but it seems like he decided not to change. But for the others, they have tried to change themselves. Greg, unfortunately, has not. So, I'm more on their side at this particular second, since they want to do something right and take care of an individual who has repeated the same mistakes over and over again and has given chances time and time again to change and refused to. And now it has affected multiple people. Let's make that clear. Unchecked, this has affected multiple people. Now I ask you, are you really going to try to start beef? Again, no named individual. Just because you didn't get the interviews, that you didn't get the views, you didn't get the credit for the takedown of Greg. Because if you are, then that is very, very petty. And just shows the kind of person you are, and that you don't really care about any justice for the victims, only for your own self-needs.
Gonna need a sensu for that one.
But Trump, for a long time, he's been talking about fake news and the media and how everything is, horrible. People are horrible who work for the news, allegedly, and these people are parasites, and these people are disgusting, and he says stuff like that. And I just thought, man, this guy's an enemy of the public. He's the enemy of the truth if he doesn't want the news talking about him, because the news is this honorable institution, right? Sure. So when I was part of the self-proclaimed reporter world, you didn't see me covering, so-and-so murders his whole extended family at a family reunion article. You didn't see me talking about anyone murdering anyone.
Well, of course not. You were too busy with making videos about Shane Dawson that were completely out of context because you had barely any evidence to what you were saying, as well as doing videos on people like Eugenia Cootie, harassing them about their weight, as well as making these really crappy wellness videos about telling people, like calling them out for being fat, skinny, or thin. I guess skinny and thin are the same thing, but still. You are a very malicious person in your so-called criticisms. Due to your actions, somebody would probably start to guess that maybe, you had a hard time with dealing with girls. So your way to get back is, making shitty videos and then being kind of a dick to, kids. For the most part, kids, considering that some of the people that you showcased in your videos were, again, underage. No, I am not going to let that go.
You didn't see me talking about people viciously, violently violating other human beings. You didn't see that. What you saw me talking about was so-and-so cheated on so-and-so. Or what about today's drama about one person doing something scandalous to another person, and aren't they a bad person because they kissed somebody while in a relationship with someone else or whatever? It's stuff like that. It's really watered down, none of my business stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna say this right off the bat. No, That's not what you were doing. Also, I want to point out, if you want to look at, the quote-unquote drama channels, people like, and I hate to use this guy's name because I kind of despise this individual and his channel, Keemstar, who has quite a reputation, and Scarce, who I honestly think is the better between the two, would usually be the go-to people to go to for drama. Okay? PewDiePie on occasion does drama shit. H3 does drama as well. And many other smaller channels do drama. Stuff like that. You, on the other hand, you do not do that. In fact, if anything, if you were to ever find out about somebody's personal life or drama, you would proceed to put it out there, even if they didn't want it public. You would go out of your way to harm somebody, to slander them, to take anything and everything out of context, if need be, to prove yourself to be right. So don't go off by saying you did harmless drama content, because you weren't. If you were honest, you would tell people that too, but you're not.
There was other stuff that was pretty serious, like trying to help people with eating disorders or trying to stop people from supporting people who are promoting eating disorders, stuff like that. But even that is taking a stance on someone's life who I don't understand. What I'm saying in this is, when I used to do that, I was not only a hypocrite, but I was a fraud.
No shit, Sherlock!
And for all I know, we're all frauds to this day.
Some people, yes, maybe. Everyone, no. You can't trump everybody as being the same as you. I know you like to have this whole idea of everyone having like a hive mind mentality, but that's not the case. I've pointed this out in every single one of my videos that we've talked about when it comes to how you think about people and how people should act. Everyone, every single individual on this planet is different. We all think differently. We have our own aspirations in life. We're not a collective. We are not a hive mind. Not every single one of us thinks the same. Period. You need to stop that shit. I will say that explains why you have so many failures when it comes to female companionship, considering the fact that you've treated them all exactly the same and tried to use the same tactics on them, thinking that every single one of them would be, or at least would have, a similar interaction, just like the past or as the previous relationships. Hashtag Onision is a sick fuck.
But the reason I'm saying I was a hypocrite and a fraud is because we all know very well there are real issues in the world that need to be talked about.
Stuff like you yourself would never actually talk about and shame others because you want to act like a bleeding heart when it best suits you.
That stuff needs to be talked about, but we don't talk about it because it doesn't get us clicks on our videos.
I don't think that's the case, considering that there are some people that actually do talk about these situations. I mean, for instance, when it comes to the Australian fire, I did give a brief kind of like notice on one of my earlier videos talking about you, about what was going on, as well as leaving links to the necessary donations or places that they can go to donate for the fires. Where have you done that in any of your videos? Or where have you tried to give to other people other than yourself? I mean, by the way, I want to point out that your spouse doesn't count as a donation, by the way, since you tried to pull that shit.
And you see this happen all the time. You see someone popular do something that is scandalous or is, taboo or not illegal, because otherwise we just call the cops. So we talk about it. And we act like we're better, and we act like they're beneath us, and we act like they're not human.
Okay, Greg, I'm gonna say something. And I know you are trying to act as if you're not pointing fingers, but you are definitely pointing fingers at the people who have done videos on you. I'm gonna say this flat out. We don't consider as you being not human, okay? To some extent, a lot of us would treat any other individual that fucks up. Unfortunately for you, you constantly fuck up. So you can't blame us for your own inadequacies. You can only blame yourself. I myself don't consider myself perfect. I know that I make my own share of mistakes. I know that I'm, to some extent, will have to live with some of those mistakes for the rest of my life. But you know what? I acknowledge them. I learn from them. Hell, I think about them every day of my fucking life. With certain situations that I've had to deal with, certain actions that I take, I deal with my problems. Unlike you. Somebody who avoids problems. Somebody who avoids having to deal with the truth. You, sir, and I can say this because at this point I'm giving you criticism. You, sir, are a coward. Somebody who hides from any confrontation, hides from any credibility, or at the very least, responsibility for one's actions. And when given the chance to change, you are, just, I would assume, and I want to point out again because it's my opinion, you are scared to change. Because more than likely, this is the only thing that you've known. The way you act, the way you try to deal with situations, that's the only way you know how to deal with things. And honestly, I think if you would have had a better, what's the best word for it? A better, like, way you were raised. No offense, because again, with the evidence shown, your mother's creepy. Maybe perchance you would have been a better individual. But who knows? Nobody would ever know at this point, considering how far you've gone. Now, I'm gonna kind of cut it from here when it comes to Onision's video. Was it another freaking really long video where he's talking very slow? I had to speed it up. And the mass majority of the video, he's just rambling. Rambling about the same thing over and over and over again for the next, like, 15 to 20 minutes. So, bottom line. Here is the bottom line. Because he wants to attack people for not talking about certain victims once again, like he does on Twitter, like he does on YouTube. So, here's my response. And I can do this within a few seconds, okay? You want us to, or not even not a few seconds, because it might take a little bit longer, but a funny joke. But you want us to talk about actual victims. You want us to give situations, or at least respond to certain situations that are more important. Practice what you preach. And I'm being serious. Practice what you preach. You want to get off on us for talking about only you or a certain individual that does something stupid. And I hate defending some of the drama channels, or at least, channels like Keemstar or freaking or Scarce, for their drama content, because again, I'm not a fan of Keemstar, because again, he has a reputation. Ultimately, they're allowed to do whatever the fuck they want. It's their channels. And to some extent, people eat that content up. They like to know what famous people are doing. Keemstar in of itself is like TMZ, for that matter. Where he just tries to find dirt for his videos and uploads that. And you know what? Again, people eat that shit up. But I have to point out again, you can't trump your content with that of Keemstar, Scarce, or some of the other drama channels. Considering the fact, Greg, that the channels that, or at least the videos that you've made, have been nothing but slanderous smut. Okay? There's a difference. Drama content, where they give information and evidence to the drama, whereas you, barely any information that you just run with, and you try to slander the individual to make people hate them. That's you, and the drama content is the stuff that actually gives a shit about what they put in. So, Greg, final words for you. Practice what you preach if you're going to attack other channels for giving their opinions as well as dealing with drama. Because it just makes you look really bad when you're attacking people for when you're doing the exact same thing. Alright, thank you guys so much for watching. Truly appreciate it. If you guys have anything you would like to add in the conversation, leave your comments down below. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. If you guys want to follow us on social media, links are in the description. If you guys want to follow MJ, Magi, and Aden on gaming content, they usually stream on YouTube and Twitch. Sage does the nature walks, which is a ton of fun to watch. If you guys want to follow some of my gaming or my TV and movie talks, videos are usually uploaded or premiered around noon and 6 p.m. Pacific time. Want to follow our podcast where we talk about a variety of topics as well as play some fun games? That is usually on Sunday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. This is Rob of Novakast signing off. Have a good one. Take care. Peace and be safe.
Thank you.